Hello everybody, how are you all doing today? We're back again with some Unreal tutorials where my friend Strange Bro Jim and I learn to use the Unreal Engine and hopefully one day make our own little project on it. Before I hop onto his Discord, of course I'm gonna sell out and I don't bother him doing it on the stage over on his side. So down in the description below you'll find a link to the Power Shop where you can buy energy mixes, sleep mixes, hydration mixes, and shakers, and even stickers. And if you use creator code Blackheart, you will get a 10% discount. And okay, let me hop on over to his stage. Yesterday we did have an issue regarding the floating actor. I think I found the solution. I finally read it where they actually fixed it, and I think I understand what they did. Let me just hop on in, and we'll talk about it with him, who actually knows more C++. Like, not me, not so much. Oh, let's get my desktop audio on.
There we go.
You guys should be able to hear him now.
We're back for some more Unreal Engine. My name is Strange Bro Jim. And we're basically going through currently the programming quick start to try to learn the basics of Unreal Engine before we start trying to figure something out for ourselves, try to build something ourselves that we can put up on the marketplace, whatever market that we're going to be going for. We'll figure that out later. Don't need to figure it out right now. Yesterday we were having some difficulties when we were placing
he's placing the floating actor, little problem.
When we were placing our floating actor into the scene, which was showing up, in the world outlier, a lot of the details that were being offered, or that they were saying that we could change, wasn't there. It's not visible at all. We were having some difficulties. I modified the Visual Studio code, which it's not showing right at this moment in time. 1 second, let me go ahead and try to fix that.
I'm going to switch over to the other overlay.
I tried putting in some messages in there, and even those weren't showing up in the console log. So we had to kind of stop because we were going well over time, and we needed to, we basically had to take the troubleshooting offline. So I think I think I found, or at least I'm seeing a little bit of a discrepancy on the page. Blackheart says that he found out the solution, so I'm going to go ahead and invite him to talk now, seeing that he's in the stage. So there's that.
Hello there.
Hey there, Blackheart. How's it going?
I'm doing okay. Just my arm's a little tired from holding the baby.
Yeah, that would do.
Yeah, baby's having a little bit of stomach ache, so he's a bit whiny.
Gotcha. Now, before you get into your solution, I want to try to, mention what I noticed, which, if I went, I was kind of looking through the page a little bit, and I noticed down at the very bottom of the page, they have their sample code. Which, the .h, I didn't really see any problems with it at all. There wasn't anything like major changes in the .h file. However, in the CPP file, I noticed that the if statement that surrounded the visual mesh and all that, that's gone. There's no if statement there in their CPP file. So if I go back to, the code on our Visual Studio right there, this if using component pointer existing root component, that's gone. That's not there. So
Yeah, they
so
definitely
that's
altered it.
yeah, they basically removed it altogether. I mean, everything else is, from what I can see, pretty much the same for the most part, but they got rid of that if statement there. Now, I don't know if that actually fixes the issue or not, but um,
Well, the
you know,
fix I
that's
found it works with the if statement that we have.
okay. But I didn't see anything else here, so what exactly did you find? Was it like a web page or?
I found it on Reddit. Give me a sec, let me show the compiler back on the screen. So they found that the problem was in the condition on the first if. That
Okay.
using component existing root component equal get root component, it they believe that was throwing null or something inside the if. So what they did is they pulled that outside of it, and then it's like right on top of the if, and inside of the condition they put exclamation mark existing root component to check if that declaration is working. When I did that, it works.
Hmm. Okay.
So like it was that they were declaring it inside the if that was not working. That was like throwing null according to the redditor. So in other words, it was not going in. It was the if statement wasn't going inside.
Well, yeah.
So when I moved it out, put what I just told you, and then it does work. It goes in, and now it creates the object. Like if I hide my um, studio and show Unreal, I'm gonna drag the floating actor in, and there it is. It's working.
Okay. Now you didn't change anything concerning the text, right? The text is still the same. It still has like the
Uh,
game and
I
the
got
shape
rid of
cube and all that.
the dot shape cube. Like it's just shape cube. I got rid of the dot because a lot of people were saying that that was a typo.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You can test first changing the if statement and see if it works with the dot shape cube. If it doesn't work, then yeah, that's also a typo, and it should just say the shape cube at the end of that test.
Did you leave in the game or did you switch it over to content?
I left it as game starter content shapes shape cube.
Okay. I'll put it back. I'll put it back to that as well.
I want me to
And
DM you what the if looks like?
no. I'm pretty much based off of what you just said. I'm you know I'm pretty sure that what I got is correct. So
Let
okay, let
me.
me go ahead and remove the floating actor here because that's using old code. I'm gonna go ahead and save, and then let's see.
I'm gonna show Visual Studio back on my OBS.
Okay, now the floating actor on mine is still showing a ball. Is it showing a cube
On the
in
Unreal,
the
it
content?
shows a cube.
In, no, I mean in the content browser.
Yes. Let me just hide mine. You can see my Unreal. You can see the cube I just rolled in, and the content browser is also a cube.
Okay, go back to your Visual Studio. Let me see what you actually have again.
Yeah. Like I took what was inside the if and moved it above it.
Yeah, you just had the exclamation point, for that value that
Yeah.
it's being equal to. Yeah.
Yes, and
And
I right down here I just removed the dot shape cube because they're saying that's a typo,
yeah. Mm.
and it worked. I hit build, and there it was.
Okay, there it goes.
Does it work now?
Yep, okay. It's there.
Okay, so the problem was that the code example they gave us, that if statement was wrong. Like they didn't build
Yeah,
it the way they should have. I think
yeah,
what the Redder thought is that they thought like of putting that whole line within a parenthesis with the exclamation point outside, but when I tried that, it would give me an error. So this actually worked fine. What I did now.
yeah. Typically, you don't really want to, you know, the problem with trying to declare. See, the if statement is normally looking for a condition.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
not
a
necessarily.
comparer, pretty much.
Right. So when you're assigning something inside of it, it doesn't really work out very much because it's trying to look for a condition. So if you're not providing that, then it's going to be like, I don't get what you're trying to do here.
Yeah, and as a result,
Um,
it was the returning null. As a result.
yeah. So um, normally it would be like, hey, um, if you had like two equal signs or something like that, hey, is existing root component, you know, equal to the get root component, then that would be the comparison that it will be like, oh yeah, you can do that, no problem. But obviously that's not the intention that they were trying to do there. They're trying to get the root component in there so
Yeah,
that
they
they
were
can check it.
declaring it in there.
Yeah. Now I'm sure that there's probably an easier way of going about doing that. Um, because they're not using the existing root component again.
Nope.
So, uh, so right now this is kind of it's kind of a waste, to be honest. Creating this pointer here to get the get root component and then checking to see if it actually exists. That seems like a that seems like a waste. Um, because they're not using it any further inside, um, within the if statement itself, right? Um, but I mean, we're just using their code, so
Yeah.
um, I find this very ugly. I don't really like, you know, what they did here. I don't like the fact that they're doing all this within the constructor. It's just yikes. I
Yeah.
don't really like it, um, but we're just gonna have to kind of move on this then. Um, Now one thing that I would like to find out is okay. So now my G logs are actually showing up.
That's because it's going into the if statement where you have the logs.
Well, no. I had a G log after. I had a G log before the if statement even appeared. So you know, so the checking if statement I had even before the if statement was even there,
Hmm.
but it wasn't printing. It wasn't even printing that out. So that's where I was like, what's going on here? Why is it? Why? That's the reasoning why I was like, there's something strange going on here that, even this glog wasn't printing out um, the statement, in the log itself, but now, going to the Unreal Engine, you can see checking if statement. It's there now. So, which, uh, kind of reminds me of a problem that, um, they have with printing out, statements in C and C++. Um, like these statements were probably put into the buffer, or the checking if statement probably was put into the buffer to try to be put onto the output log. But because we were having that problem with the if statement, it was kind of causing that particular portion of the code to, in a sense, fail. And because it was doing that, that buffer wasn't being uh, flushed. It wasn't flushing contents of those statements out to, um, you know for everything. So that's why it's like, okay. Um, I now know that the glog doesn't buffer, or it doesn't flush out its contents. So that's going to be a slight concern going forward as well. So just bear that in mind. If you ever want to use glog to, um, you know, you like um, double check everything. I'm just gonna comment those out. But yeah, that was a bit weird. So so out in the code again. There we go. All right. So I get and oh, you found the answer. I was about ready to just kind of remove the um that existing component altogether because um I mean, in a sense it it's not really even needed, you
No.
know. I mean, we could probably, if we deleted it, we probably would get the same result, and it probably wouldn't really matter all that much. So, hence the reason why, down below when you're looking at the floating actor, they don't have the if statement in there. You know, if you look down at the very bottom of the programming quick start, they give an example of the floating actor CPP in there, and it's not there.
Yeah, the code's different.
So, that first if statement is gone. They don't have it. So everything contained within it, within that block, within that if block is that if block is gone. Everything inside is just pretty much out. So yeah, you know, we might have probably gotten the same results if we did that too. So,
Probably.
um, but okay, so um, what's funny is that when you look at their floating actor initially, in their in step 2 of their fourth task, it's showing the floating actors as a sphere.
Yeah,
But
without
then
the mesh.
you go down to the third, and now it's a square. It's like, guys, be a little more consistent there. Just saying.
Yeah,
Um, Also, oh no, I guess the floating actor here is circle. I don't know. Wonder if there's like a way to kind of refresh the world outlier at all.
I don't know.
Hmm, I don't really see anything concerning like um, refreshing it right at this moment in time. Hmm. Because I'm looking at the floating actor and it's showing the floating actor as a circle. I I wonder if that um because I don't know. Wait, I did drag it out there when it was a square, so
Yeah,
I
even though it's
guess it
shown like that, it's because it's. Mm,
I guess the symbol itself is just, hey, right, it's a circle. It's a sphere. So, yeah, whatever. All right, moving on. Okay, so we're on step 4
yeah,
for um task 4, where we're changing the location.
yeah.
So,
Minus 180 on the x-axis, minus uh, and 0 on the y, and 180 on the z-axis.
yep. Okay. Alternatively, you can use the move gizmo to move it there manually, but I mean, why would you want to do
Yeah,
that if
if
you
you know
have
the
the...
coordinates where you want it, just type it down. It'll be better.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and
Press
then
the
just
play
hit play.
editor. Yep. Press the play editor button at the top of the screen. So, and now you have a floating cube
Yep.
that rotates. And who knows how long that's gonna do that for.
I'd say indefinitely.
Probably. You should now see your cube gently floating up and down over the table while it slowly rotates. Congratulations, you've created your first actor class entirely with C++. While this represents a very simple object and only scratches the surface of what you can do with C++ source code, you have at this point touched on all the essentials of creating, editing, and compiling C++ for your game. You're now ready for more complex gameplay programming challenges, and we suggest a few below. Okay, well, that's a finished step. Now that you know how to build a simple C++ actor, try making it more configurable. For instance, you can add variables to control its behavior. Okay. By adding these variables in the header and placing the float values, we were using to scale delta height and delta rotation in the CPP. We can now edit the float and rotation speed in the details panel when we select our actor. You can experiment with adding other kinds of behavior to the tick function using location, rotation, and scale. You can also try attaching other kinds of components in C++ to create a more complex object. Refer to creating and attaching components guide for examples of different types of components you have available, and try adding a particle system component to add a bit of flair to your floating object. Finally, if you right-click your own actor class in the content browser, you will find the option to extend it, either in C++ or in Blueprint, enabling you to create new variations of it. So you can have a whole library of floating actors, each substituting different meshes or parameters as you so choose. You want to go ahead and go through that, or do you want to just kind of move on to, other things?
Let's see. I would rather probably look at how other people handle floating actors, because this definitely doesn't feel like the optimal way to go about it.
Okay.
So
Um,
yeah, I'd say we move on and eventually I look up better code for it. Unless you want to
yeah.
try like duplicating and messing around with it, but
I'm not really, like I said before, the, um, I'm not really that impressed with the constructor code. So I feel like this is really kind of
yeah,
ugly code for the
yeah.
most
But
part. Now,
while I was looking, I think other people were doing it very differently when I was looking for answers.
yeah. Um, so, so to be honest, I mean, while, adding the extra variables is nice, um, especially when they're like, hey, they have the U property edit anywhere, blueprint, read write, category floating actor, um, that's interesting. That's good. We can kind of um, do that a bit, even though once again I feel like they are not. Um, I doubt that they're here. Hold on, I want to check this out real quick because the they're adding some additional floats into the. I want to check out their code for the at least building the float speed and rotation speed because um, based off of what they're showing in the floating actor details panel, I don't think that's matching with what they have in their code. So I wanna double check that real quick.
So
So
you're gonna copy
um,
paste. We're gonna copy paste this and see what we get.
for the most part, um, so let's see, we got under public. Pardon me, folks, while I add these in here real quick. Uh, these are pretty much under. Actually, hold on. I'll go ahead and put it there. So, new property. Add anywhere. Blueprint. Read right. That's not actually showing up in there. In their library list right at this moment in time, so that's a little concerning. Because one I'm looking at right at this moment in time is the fact that like hey they're doing the U property edit anywhere blah blah blah, right? And it's like, oh, okay, so you can add the these these types into the the category into the details so that you can modify it for later, right?
Yeah.
Um, but however, when I'm looking at uh, the details panel, um, the um, the name on the details panel is
Floating actor.
has a space to it, whereas if you look at the code that they're suggesting to you, there's no space at all. So how exactly did they get the space on the details panel? How does it interpret that? So, hey there, Milo. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. How's your day been? So that's why I'm like, there's something funky going on here. I want to see, I want to see if, you know, um, are we actually seeing um, are we going to be seeing the exact same thing, or are they just kind of pulling our leg on this? So, uh, okay, so they have load speed, and then they have rotation speed. Okay. So now we just do that, build that. Build building. Successful. We're gonna go back to the Unreal Engine. We're going to go ahead and recompile there. So,
But once you hit build, it should already work.
okay, so I see the floating actor category, and they automatically put spaces in between float and speed. So this is interesting. So it from what I can tell on this, okay, because you're not actively creating the labels in the code or at this moment in time, right? In the floating actor.h, there's no spaces in there. Matter of fact, the category itself has no spaces in there. But yet you look on the Unreal Engine and there's a space in between floating and actor there. So the most that I can say on this for this moment in time is that they automatically put a space for camel case. So if you put capital letters in there, then it will generate a space in between. I want to test this out a little bit. Sorry if I'm going off track here, but
Don't worry about it. Don't worry. This is part of the programming part. We're trying to figure it out.
Right, exactly. So I want to create another category, but this time I'm gonna just kind of put like, let me switch back over to Visual Studio. Hey there, Jay. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. How's your day been? So we're back to the Visual Studio. So I'm just gonna say, here, I'll just put in the program name, right? The project name, program, quick start. And if it is something that handles like the so it doesn't give me any kind of hassles or anything along those lines. Um, so if it does kind of work with the camel case, then I should probably be seeing 3 spaces in a new category called Program Quick Start. Maybe. We'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and build. Hey there, Julian. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. How's your day been? Okay. So there's that. Okay, so now we're just gonna go ahead and recompile here. And there it is, Program Quick Start, and it's 3 spaces. Or, put in a space between, Program Quick and Quick and Start. So yeah, it puts spaces in between the camel case. Now, bear in mind though, it doesn't put spaces in between capital letters, outright, because I just did PQS as capital letters.
Yeah.
And the variable there, PQS, doesn't have spaces in between those. So
if it doesn't detect the lowercase letter after the capital case, it won't see it as a camel case.
that's what I'm thinking as well, right, at this moment in time. But again, I don't know how they kind of handle that exactly, kind of a thing. But I mean, it's good for us to know in the future. So if you can, if you're kind of like looking at my stream right at this moment in time, you have the actually, hold on, I'm not showing the Unreal Engine. Let me go ahead and show that. So as you can see right there, Program Quick Start with spaces there, and the PQS has no spaces in between the capital letters. So it's interesting, So, but okay. So how would you like to proceed after this? Because obviously, with our getting started with UE4, it had the level designer quick start, which we did.
Yeah.
The artist quick start, which we did. And then there's the programmer quick start, which we just finished. However, after they get started, they just have terminology, Unity developers, and tools and editors. That doesn't really help us out per se. I mean, don't get me wrong, overview of the different types of editors contained in an Unreal Engine might be helpful for us, but I'd like to kind of go into like larger tutorials.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I would like to be able to kind of do, for them to basically say, okay, here, check out, like, hey, here's an example of building your own game or something like that using this, right? And then we can kind of go from there. Obviously something that we can probably just get rid of afterwards, but I still want to I want to be able to kind of look into a little bit more on this. Now, there were some other pages that we could go to, creating and attaching components as a separate page. I think we had several pages prior. We had level designer quick start, link.
Oh, come on, YouTube. What's wrong now?
Actor ticking.
Oh, crap. Not again.
Creating and attaching components. Properties. Like there's multiple pages on in the programming quick start that we can kind of look through if you want.
Give me a second. I'm trying to fix something on my laptop because I can no longer see the previews.
Okay.
Like the Wi-Fi kind of died on my laptop or something. I don't know what just happened.
That's unfortunate.
I know I'm still streaming because the cable line's still working. Not getting any errors on OBS.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any problems, of me watching your stream right at this moment in time, so I don't really.
So it's my laptop, the one that's just decided to
Yeah.
nope. I don't know. Okay, let me try the other line right now. Oh, damn it. The other backup line Wi-Fi is not working either. I have to message my brother and tell him if he can reset it. Maybe something happened to it.
Oh, reset the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. I don't remember now what cable I have on. I'll reset it later. Since I'm still live and I don't want to accidentally screw up the stream, I'll reset the Wi-Fi later myself.
Right.
Oh well. Let's see.
Okay. Are you able to see the different web pages or?
I'm on my desktop. I can see everything. It's just my laptop that's not working.
Okay. Okay, that's the level designer quick start. We don't really need that. Let me see.
Okay, fixed it. There we go. I fixed it.
I already have that page, so I'm gonna go read that one.
There we go. Thank goodness.
Indeed.
No, it appears that my laptop's Wi-Fi was the one that froze, not the Wi-Fi itself.
Gotcha.
I don't know why that happened. As for what we can continue on now, I'm like going through the other options to see if there's anything else.
Yeah, I'm just checking the links associated with the program quick start right at this moment in time. Right now I'm kind of looking at the properties, which is interesting. But nothing like, you know, I would recommend like maybe saving the properties for like later if we need to reference it at some point in time. But for the most part, I don't think we really need to use it as um, as a launch for like the next portion of our tutorials here. So Um, creating a new project. I don't really see a need for this right at this moment in time. Um, oh, okay.
Continue.
So under the programming quick start, there is a section for, where is it? Okay. On the first step, required setup,
Yeah.
there's a link um, um, in the second paragraph saying, please refer to project browser page. I would I would suggest that we go to that real quick.
Okay.
Just to kind of cover over everything there. I'm gonna go ahead and stretch the browser to full screen here so everybody can kind of see what I'm seeing. So it's the project browser right there for anybody that's kind of following along. Um, so on the create a new project, it's like, okay, well, some of this is, you know, uh, fairly easy to know, or it's like, okay, yeah, no worries on here, game, film, television, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
Um, we don't really care too much about like film, architecture, or automotive right at this moment in time. Our main focus is games, so.
Yeah.
And as it is anyway, what we learn with doing the games, we can transfer to film, architecture, and automotive as well. So it's not like we're gonna be, we're gonna be like learning something incredibly new by going to any of the other categories, kind of thing. You know, obviously, there's going to be parts in those that are going to be using other tool sets or whatnot, but for the most part, it's going to be kind of using the same kind of tools, and that's pretty much where we're at on the very beginning anyway. So, if we want to later down the road of making a film or architecture or automotive, then sure we'll go there, but I
Yeah,
kind
I'd
of doubt it
say the only reason to use it is we want to make some cutscene inside the game or something.
or something. Yeah. Um, but so we move on down, and it goes into the project settings. Now this is where I found interesting because it kind of talks about the project settings a little bit. Um, so for example, the blueprint, uh, select either Blueprint or C++. Use Blueprint if you want to build your project in the Unreal Editor and use the Blueprint visual scripting system to create interactions and behavior. So, obviously if you don't want to use C++ and just want to use the visual scripting, then you can try to do that, but obviously you're probably not going to be creating something like super complex. The same. And then of course, C++. The next one kind of struck me, as useful information. So that's why I wanted to kind of bring you in on this because uh, next, click the maximum quality drop-down. If you're developing your project to be viewed on a computer or gaming console, choose maximum quality. So, you know, probably going to be doing maximum quality for the most part for most of our projects, right? If you're developing your project to be viewed on a mobile device, however, choose scalable 3D or 2D. So, if we're going to be doing any kind of 2D development, then if we want to do anything concerning mobile, that's where we kind of want to be, right?
Yeah,
So,
if we wanted
it
to
is
work,
showing.
like if you want this to run on a phone, yeah, I'd go for scalable.
Right. Now, this this kind of begs the question, like, what happens if you want to kind of do both, like have a game that's both available on computer and game console and on mobile. Uh, like, some games can do that right at this moment in time, but for the most part, it's like, okay, depends on what.
I guess that's why
Um,
they do separate servers, maybe. Like, one's made with maximum quality, but the other one's modified to run with scalable.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
even though they're the same game, they were made. There's some modifications that were done to it to run on the respective platform.
yeah, indeed. I can see you, Sheldon. No worries. I see that you're there. Um, so I'm getting a little distracted, but we're trying to learn Unreal. So I see you, Bed. I see you. No worries.
I probably wouldn't
Thank you for stopping on
touch
by.
that really too much. 'Cause I don't see myself doing much for mobile.
Well, um, I don't. Well, okay. Here's the thing. Um, for first starting out, we may need to do mobile just to kind of get our feet wet a little. Maybe. I'm just putting that out there as a suggestion. I'm not saying it's something that we should. Obviously, it's something that we'll discuss more later. But we're, for our very first project that we're gonna be building our own, then we may want to just kind of keep it small and for like potentially on a mobile device. Maybe. I'm just I'm just putting it out there as a maybe. Um, and then we'll ramp up our size as we go along. But that's just I'm just putting that out there. Now, um, what I'd like to know personally, which we'll probably try to figure out later on down the line, is uh, if you make something in maximum quality, can you take that same project and turn it into the scalable 3D as well? Obviously, some things are gonna change from that, but I'm just kind of wondering because there's some games that are compatible with both mobile and on like computer. So that's why I'm like, interesting, that kind of thing. So,
Hmm. And
you know,
I would assume they go do the whole project in scalable if that would be the case.
right.
Especially if they aim for like some form of cross-platform, sort of like what Genshin did. Come on, laptop! Don't refresh the screen.
Yeah, I'm not sure, and that's why I'm kind of interested about that right at this moment in time. But again, we can figure that out a little bit later. We don't have to like stress about it right at this particular moment in time. So, next is click the desktop console drop down, and if you're developing your project to be viewed on the mobile device, choose mobile tablet. Otherwise, leave it set to desktop console, which is kind of odd because it's like you're already kind of setting that um those kind of based off of the maximum quality that they're kind of talking about. You're already kind of setting up that dynamic. So why are you kind of repeating the information along those lines? But maybe they're the maybe suspect that like maybe later on the graphics that you're doing for maximum quality right now for computer and gaming console might eventually get to the point of being on mobile. I don't know. I'm just not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah. With starter content drop down, if you have your own assets and do not need the starter content, choose no starter content. If you want, if you like some basic assets to start with, choose with starter content. So, um, now if we're like building our own game, then we might not want to start out with the starter content.
No.
Okay. And then we'll bring in assets when we need them, you know. So that's that's how my mind is working right at this moment in time. But so, do you agree or
Yeah, like if you're gonna use assets, like if you got assets or know where to get them, then don't put starter content because you won't really use them. You don't need them.
right? Um, I mean, hmm,
Well, not
I'd
unless
like
you
to.
got something that can actually work with that, I guess.
Yeah, I think what I'd like to, uh, what I might be kind of interested in is like how much content is within the starter content kind of thing. Like, um, in the Unreal Engine, um, if you do without the starter content, are you still able to see like the place actors? The empty actors, place empty characters, so on and so forth.
Yeah, those
You
would
know,
still be there because those aren't exactly assets. Like starter content are like some form of asset that was already made.
yeah, I mean they have like architecture and stuff like that that's already kind of, you know, automatically created for you, as well as audio assets and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, those are things
um,
that were pre-made for you to use as you please. They're
yeah,
not like geometry, they're not lighting, they're not like basics.
right.
They're like kind of blueprints you can work with. Prefabs, that's the word I'm looking for. They're sort of like prefabs.
Which is a little odd because the place actors is also kind of along those same lines, like the fact that they have like their shapes in the starter content is the exact same thing as like cube in the cube in basic for place actors. So it's like, why bother with the shaped cube, on the starter content if you already have a cube in their basic. So that's why
Yeah,
it's like,
that part is like over redundant. Like it shouldn't really be there.
yeah. Well, it
They
might be there for a reason, but we're not quite
Yeah,
sure
there
exactly
are a
why.
few shapes there that aren't on the basics. I'll give them that. There are several shapes that are on the basics.
Yeah.
Just like they have a few basics, but they have a little extra something in there.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like, why have the shaped cube there when they already have a cube in the basic? That's all.
Yeah,
That's like, curious why, kind
yeah,
of thing.
but if you
Uh,
don't put this on, I don't think it would affect this at all. The
Yeah.
place actors.
Plus, yeah. Well, I mean, if we need them, then we can always drag them out from the starter content, or copy them from the starter content
Yeah, just
into
import it.
our own content folder. So,
Yeah, you should be
um,
able to import this stuff with the import function.
right. But we want to be very careful as to, why, what we're dragging in and why kind of thing. So, like, you know, it's like if we say, without starter content and then we import the entire starter content and it's like, what's, why did we not select it then? That kind of thing.
Yeah, no.
So, we have to kind of pick and choose, obviously. But yeah, that's something for later.
Yeah.
Next, locate ray tracing disabled dropdown. If your project needs to be viewed with real-time ray tracing, choose ray tracing enabled. If not, leave it set to ray tracing disabled. Now, Not quite familiar with ray tracing.
Ray
I can't
tracing
remember.
is the behavior of the light. That's all it controls. It's the lighting.
In what way?
There is a video that actually explains this well. I would need to find it because I can't really explain it properly. It's like, how should I put it? It's like, take the point from where the source of the light is and start drawing a bunch of lines out, and when it
Alright,
hits
rays.
something, make it just bounce from there, and
Okay.
just draw a bunch of
Um,
lines coming out of that. Like, there's a video explains this a lot better. But it's
that's
always
okay.
tied to lighting. It's not tied to anything else.
Yeah.
It's kind of what helps kind of generate realistic light.
Yeah. Well, I mean, realistic light is, you know, um, obviously if you want, like a sunrise or something like that, then you're going to want to try to have, as much of realistic lighting as you possibly
Yeah, and
can.
that's where
Now,
ray tracing would come in. Ray tracing would control that light,
or at
but
least try to.
yeah, it doesn't control anything else.
Yeah.
From the what I saw once, where they went into every little detail of ray tracing, it only controls light because they don't bother putting it on anything else because it will be computing hell for your computer. That it will be so much that there wouldn't be a computer that could do ray tracing if they did more than just lighting.
Right. Well, I mean, if you have like multiple light sources, then you're also going to have your own difficulties with that as well. So,
Yeah, so that's just what all that controls just light.
yeah. So,
You might want to look for that video, just because there is a video. I don't know what it was. I didn't save it or anything. That spoke with details what ray tracing is.
yeah. Let's see. So that was it for the, for that information, which, the information about um, the quality, that's helpful. I appreciate that. So, and obviously we'll discuss where we're going to be going, for our first project anyway. So, uh, later, not now, just later.
Yeah,
We'll figure out what we want to do, but um, with it just being the two of us, let's start small first.
yeah.
You know, we don't want to be trying to go like, hey, let's build the best, or the next
No,
best RPG.
no. We'll make something small.
Yeah. Whether it's going to be for desktop, whether it's for mobile, we'll figure that out later.
Eh,
Uh, but yeah. Um, I think we're pretty much done, my friend.
Yeah,
We're at the 4 o'clock mark on my end, so it's 8 o'clock your time.
yep,
Um, I think right now what our main problem right at this moment in time is trying to find like the next like tutorial to kind of go through right at this
yeah.
moment in
If
time.
anyone knows
So
where we should go from here, leave it down in the comments below, maybe.
yeah, the there is the components and collision pick, which is another link off of the programming quick start. If you go to the programming quick start and you go down to um, where is it? It's step 4 on part 3. There's a creating and attaching components. There's a lot of information there that we could probably do maybe, if you want to maybe tackle that. But I fear, um, I think what I'd like to do is I'd like to maybe look around and see if they, like, with Unity, they had like tutorials about like, hey, here's how to build a 2D game. And, they gave you steps on building a 2D game. You built it, and there you go.
Yeah.
Same with the 3D game. Now, obviously, we're not going to take those things and put it back out in the market. That'd be stupid.
No.
We'd be like,
Yeah, this is something
you know,
that kind of liked
but
about Unity, that applying some things like physics was easier on Unity.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of topics in in their documentation from what I can see. Okay, and that's all well and good. Um, the problem is that right now it's not like with Unity. Um, it felt like you were kind of doing a step-by-step process. Like, here's the first step, here's the second step, here's the third, here's the fourth, so on and so forth until, hey, you want to make a game? Here's a 2D. Hey, you want to make a game? Here's a 3D. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not really seeing that right at this moment in time on um, through the Unreal right at this moment in time.
No.
Um, so, um, so maybe, we may need to just kind of keep it boring for the most part, and just kind of go, step by step through all the topics that they kind of show, and kind of learn what each one of those topics is all about. But at the same time, I'm kind of going, wouldn't mind like learning some of these, learn by doing kind of mentality. So
Yeah. Same here.
So, and right now, I'm not really seeing anything that is really giving that per se. So, okay, so I'm seeing some YouTube videos, but it's not something that I really want to get into per se.
Yeah.
Example game projects. Okay, platformer game samples, shooter game. Let me check this out. Okay.
We might need to look
See.
into it maybe off stream and
Yeah.
see if we can find what to do next.
I'm seeing some example game projects, but let me see. This note says, this document refers to a simple game project called Platformer Game. You can find this project by doing the following. Click the Learn tab in the Epic Launcher, which we can't find. Scroll down to the Legacy Samples section. Click the image for the platform game to see a description of the project. Click the yellow button named Free. After a short time loading, the button will change to Create Project. Click this button and launch the launcher will prompt you to choose a project name and location. Click Create and the project will download to your designated folder. but it doesn't necessarily give you like instructions per se about going about. Well, I mean, it does, but yet it doesn't, in a sense. Like, I'm not seeing, like, down at the very bottom, like, a listing of, like, of the game files or anything along those lines. So it's like,
Hmm.
So it's kind of, in some ways it's like, okay, that's all great, you know. It's might be interesting to kind of see that, but at the same time, are they giving us the files that are like already built, or are these kind of saying here's how you need to build this, but not actually giving us any kind of code to build it. So we kind of potentially shoot our own foot. I don't know. But we'll have to kind of look at this a little bit later, I
Yeah,
guess.
we're gonna have to look into it a little bit.
Yeah. So, all right, my friend.
Mm.
Let's get out of here. So,
Yeah, I gotta get something
you
to
need
eat.
to. Yep. And I'm gonna go and upload some files, or get some files released on YouTube. So, and then we got Terraria later on tonight. So,
Yep.
so,
Okay.
all right, my friend. You have yourself a good time. We'll see you in a little bit.
Yep. See you in a
Uh,
little bit. Bye.
later.
Mm. All right. Now that's out of the way. Fortunately, I did find that fix for the floating actor, which surprisingly it worked. I mean, seriously, Unreal, get your shit together. You're giving us sample code that doesn't work, and we had to look for the fix made by the community. The community had to fix your own sample code that you gave us. And I know that Unreal Engine 5 also has the same issue. They have the same example, and it still doesn't work in the Unreal Engine 5. Right, well, now we just need to figure out, okay, where's the next part of the tutorial? Where will we get like trade tutorial about the step by step of actually making a game on the Unreal? Like maybe work with some examples and try and get the hang of it. That's something we don't really know. Like, if anyone knows what or have a link of what the next part of the tutorial is, or of where we should actually look, do let us know, or be here on my VOD or on his Strange for Jim's VOD. Leave it down in the comments below, maybe a link or something, and we'll check it out. If it works, we'll use that on the next Unreal stream. Otherwise, most likely tomorrow, Jim and I are gonna talk about what we're gonna do next, because we really don't have much of an idea. Because these tutorials, yeah, they give us a little bit of a base, but not really enough. I feel to actually start a project. Like I feel like there's something still missing to start a project. Like that didn't really give us much. It didn't teach us about how movement works on the Unreal, how collision actually works, like actually making a game. Then it gives like a step by step of how the process of making a game on Unreal actually is. And yeah, we found that part where I was just showing about some brief examples, but like I said, we didn't find that learn section mentioned on that example game projects part. Like that learn drop down menu does not exist on the launcher. And I don't know if it's because this is out of date, or I don't know. Like maybe leave it down in the comments below. Let us know what we have to do. But until then, I'm gonna actually close down. I gotta get something to eat because in an hour or so I gotta start Terraria with him. So, before I do close down, I need to find someone on VStream to meteor shower so that my VStream viewers at least have something fun to watch while I get my food. And let's see, ooh, there's a lot of options this time around, so who should I meteor shower? Okay. Maybe, let's see, anyone that I follow that's on right now? There's a few names I don't recognize, maybe new people here. Yeah, there are some DBU streams apparently. I'll look at those VODs later. I don't want to see them, get to know them, so that maybe follow them and have them as an option for meteor showers. Let's see. We're also still in the month of horror, so maybe there's someone doing something spooky. Nope. It's not really doing anything horror. Nope, I see a lot of Baldur's Gate. That's what I see. So, might as well meteor shower Raven the Fox. I meteor shower this person last time. He seemed a pretty chill person. The only thing that he's maining like Twitch, so he doesn't really talk too much to the V streamers. Oh wait, Life P. That one word. Yeah, I don't recognize this streamer. So, and it only has one. No, let's meteor shower this guy. Oh right, gotta make sure I have my desktop audio muted so that you guys aren't bothered with the noise while I meteor shower. How do you pronounce this? Unnatural Nero. There we go. Let me just. He sounds like a fun person. I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, I'm gonna mirror shower over on VStream, and I will see you guys in about an hour or so for some modded Terraria. So, see you in a bit, guys. Bye!